Tonight on the Nation Sports Show, we bring to you the latest breaking news in the NFL, recap all of the action from the NBA this past weekend, and we break down UFC 285 with free agency on the rise. Quarterbacks were signed this week. We break it all down. It's showtime.
From the gridiron to the court, talking all that is sport, breaking down the latest news, scores, and more. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show. Oh yeah, you know what time it is, folks. Welcome to another outstanding edition of our Nation Sports Show live here on YouTube. We are back on our regular scheduled day on Tuesday nights. Here live, here talking about the world of sports. And before I get to my co-host joining me tonight, I am your host for this evening, Stephen Wyand. And boy, oh boy, do we have an action-packed show just for all of y'all. And before we get to this fine gentleman with me on screen with me tonight, we got to plug the social media platforms. Up first on Twitter at @ON_sports show, Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show, and where we are live right now on YouTube.com/Our Nation Sports Show. Don't forget to smash and like this video and share this with your family and friends that are into the world of sports. And folks, also, don't forget to follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner. Everywhere else on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, it is at the Nation's Corner. And ladies and gentlemen, not only was it an action-packed week in sports, but also in the world of professional wrestling. Because this past Sunday in San Francisco at the Chase Center, AEW brought to you Revolution. And it was one of the best AEW pay-per-views that they have put on in quite some time. In my opinion, and probably a lot of other people's opinions, Revolution 23 was the best pay-per-view that AEW has done since All Out 2021 in Chicago, highlighted by the debut of Adam Cole, baby, and Bryan Danielson, again, at All Out in Chicago in 2021. Sunday's pay-per-view was unfriggin' believable. I mean, MJF and Bryan Danielson absolutely put on a hell of a 60-plus minute Iron Man match that went into sudden death, overtime. One fall to a finish, tied up at 3, going into the final sudden death portion of that match. And MJF, that sneaky little bastard, got away with the victory. And oh boy, his press conference at the end of that pay-per-view in the media room was spectacular. Just, the dude is so good at being a heel, and he's also good, even being a heel, putting over his opponent, and that he did with Bryan Danielson. And again, folks, join the Nation's Corner crew this Saturday as Front Row, Tony Justice, Elder Mike, and whoever else decides to join him this week, that is to be determined, because Deb will be going to an independent wrestling show this weekend. So hope you have fun, Deb. And don't forget to join the gang this weekend as they recap AEW Revolution live this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific time. And with that being said, folks, let's get to the show. And joining me tonight, he is a good friend of mine for 19 glorious years. All fan of rap and hip-hop, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, you name it, old school rap. He's a big-time wrestling fan. He's a good friend of mine. He's the leader of the San Francisco 49ers wagon. He is the leader of the Bang Bang Niner gang. My man, K-Rock, Kevin Warrior. What's going on, man?
Oh, what's up, dude? What's up? Hope everybody's having a good night. And we got a little two-man crew going because everybody's out with load management, according to the NBA. Nah, I'm just playing. But nah, everybody's going through their own trials and tribulations. And I'm praying for everybody, Randy, Joey, and Ezra. And can't wait to have y'all back on the show. But me and Steven, we're about to talk some free agency, some NBA, UFC, and all of that stuff. So let's go.
Let's go. And we're going to change it up a little bit. Talk about UFC 285 from Las Vegas this past Saturday, highlighted by the main event of Jones versus Gane. And this was no contest. I mean, one of the greatest UFC MMA fighters of all time, Jones absolutely took Gane to school and choked him out with a guillotine 2 minutes into that first round. And not only that, but to start out the fight, Gane kicked Jones in the balls. So there you go. 7 seconds into the fight. That's illegal. That's illegal. Illegal. You can't be doing that in MMA.
Looking up to my main man, Draymond Green. Shout out.
Right. Shout out to Kevin. You know my buddy Bo. When I do that illegal thing, that's from a little soundbite from Into the Trivia Pit on Sirius XM that Sean the Butcher plays as one of his soundbites during the Metal Trivia show that I love to listen to on Wednesday. So yeah, that low blow was once again illegal. Can't be doing that bullshit anyways. But Jones took care of business in this fight, just punches and kicks galore. And once he got gone to the ground and established control on top, I mean, it was no contest. I mean, he's one of the greatest MMA fighters. He's been out of the game for 3 years and he's back. And he did something that Randy Couture did years ago. Not only now did Jones win the light heavyweight championship 11 years ago as the youngest light heavyweight champion, now he is the heavyweight champion. And Randy Couture did that. He was the light heavyweight champion and the heavyweight champion in the UFC back in the day. And congratulations to Jones coming back. John Bones Jones making his return to the octagon and getting the victory by submission. And also, now, the main event really didn't deliver, but honestly, the undercard was very good. Gamrot defeated Turner by split decision in a good fight. And also, my favorite fight of the card was the women's flyweight championship fight between Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko. Now, this fight went 4 rounds, and this fight had a lot of ebbs and flows because Valentina was establishing her dominance in the octagon. This was her 8th title fight overall at this time going into this fight. And Grasso was obviously the underdog going into this fight. And in the first couple of rounds, I mean, Valentina was just getting it done, on the cards, takedowns, defense, kicks, punches, some ground and pound, you name it. And then there was one point during this fight, I believe it was. It was in the 3rd round when Shevchenko had her on the ground and Alexa had an opportunity to pull her feet to the octagon to get herself up, but she missed that opportunity. And good call by Rogan. Joe Rogan, one of the greatest MMA announcers of all time and a very martial arts expert of calling the action all those years from Mike Goldberg back in when he was still with the UFC. And also shout outs to DC, Daniel Cormier, for being on the call with Rogan as well. Both of those guys might be the color commentators, but they know what they're talking about because they're MMA experts. But back to the fight. I mean, Rogan called it when he saw what Alexa was going through, how she wasn't, just being aware, and pulling herself up. I mean, when she got the opportunity to do it again this time, she succeeded and got back to her feet. It was a more evenly ground in the rest of the round. And then that 4th round, I mean, that was crazy because Shevchenko was, again, dominating, in this round. And then she went for that round kick, and just Grasso absolutely timed it perfectly and countered it and choked her out with a rear naked choke. It was unbelievable how her timing, her training, the instinct that she had to go for it and she got the job done. I mean, this was marvelous how she got this done and shocking the world. Alexa Grasso is now your UFC flyweight champion. And if you're a betting man in Vegas, going into this fight, her odds for a submission victory was 25-1. If you had that on the betting line, you made some big money. Yeah. And congratulations to Alexa for winning the flyweight championship on Saturday night in the Sin City against Valentina. And Valentina went out like a graceful champion, putting her opponent over and saying, hey, she was a better fighter. She came in, prepared, and she countered my attacks when it was the right timing, and she got it done. So again, folks, UFC 285, those are some of the fights from this past Saturday in the Octagon, and another good card overall by the Ultimate Fighting Championship. And moving on to the NBA, man, oh man, Kev, I know you got some thoughts on the NBA. And I mean, the Boston Celtics, I mean, they, during the first half of this season, were the hottest NBA team this season. They were the heavily favorites, not only in the Eastern Conference, but in the NBA. And they came out during the first half of the year hot. But in the second half, since the All-Star break is finished, especially this past, couple of days, they've lost 3 games in a row. Give everybody your thoughts on the skid that the Celtics are on right now.
I guess it's kind of like that mid-season slump. A lot of great teams go through it. We've seen Golden State go through it throughout their dynasty years. We've seen the Spurs do it through their years, the Heat with LeBron, all that. I mean, it's bound to happen. I'm more interested to see how they rebound come the month of March, this month here, and toward April and the playoffs, which I think they will rebound and get back on track. But I think it's kind of just they lose sight of what's going on. They lose focus. They just got complacent. They're in the driver's seat. They're just kind of chilling. But they have allowed the Milwaukee Bucks to get that 1 seed. So if they plan on making a noise, any kind of noise in the playoffs, the problem is going to be now by you slacking off here in these last couple weeks. Now you're going to have to play Giannis in Milwaukee. And you got to go to a game 7 in Milwaukee if that was the case. So I don't know. I much rather would have had a game 7 in the Garden than I would have had going to Milwaukee. So they need to get back on track because Milwaukee looks like they're getting hot at the right time. They won 15 straight. But I don't know if that streak was snapped here in the last couple of days. But I know going into the weekend, Milwaukee was on a 15-game win streak. But how about the New York Knicks, though?
Mm-hmm.
They are the only team in the NBA who has been undefeated since the All-Star breaks. And I absolutely cannot believe that Julius Randle and company have just won every single game they play since the All-Star break, and they're still not losing. They had a barn burner of a game with the Celtics, defeating them in double overtime with New York Knicks bench player leading the team in scoring with 38, I believe. And that's insane. The Knicks are getting hot at the right time. Got to be worried about them. Philadelphia starting to click together. The other night, Joel Embiid and Harden both had 35-plus points each and 20 assists. That's insane. So the Sixers seem like they're getting their shit together at the right time. The Bucks are going to be the Bucks because Giannis is the best player in basketball. Let's just note, hands down, no doubt. Then you got Boston better get their shit together because there's 4 teams that are coming for them, and potentially the Celtics will meet up with the Knicks in the second round of the playoffs if they were to start today. And I don't know if I would want to play this Knicks team in a 7-game series. Not right now. Not right now until I see them. They start to slow down because you get hot at the right time in professional sports. That's all it takes to propel these guys to an upset win. So Boston,
exactly.
Got to get your shit together, man.
Highlighted by the 28-point blown lead against not Kevin Durant, not Kyrie Irving in the Nets, the Brooklyn Nets.
Yep, the
Mikal Bridges.
Brooklyn Nets.
Unbelievable. I mean, the Celtics lose against the Nets, lose against the Knicks, and they lost again yesterday.
They lost to the Cavs yesterday with
40 points.
Oh, my
by Donovan Mitchell. I mean, the Celtics, I mean, let's be honest, Kev. I mean, they are still a good team, but they're going to have to get it together, especially now that we're getting in the crunch time. And, when the games are starting to matter anymore, especially with playoff seeding, because the season ends next month. And it's going to be rather fascinating to see what happens with the Celtics, because I mean, Tatum and Brown and Horford, and Smart, they're still a good team. They still have all the key pieces, from this championship final bound team last year, and they still can go there, but it's going to be a tough road, especially if Milwaukee gets home court advantage in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, definitely, because we seen how tough that matchup was last season with the Celtics and the Bucks. It went 6 to 7 games. So, Boston, and you got to think those last couple games for Milwaukee was played without their second best scorer in Chris Middleton. He's back now. So, Boston got to get together because Milwaukee is right there, because as long as Giannis is the Greek freak and he's healthy, look out. I would not want to see them in a playoff series. I'm telling you.
Real quick, Kev, to add to that, yes, quickly. Was the player for the Knicks that had 38 points.
Right. It was Jalen Brunson's backup because Brunson did not play that game.
And Jason Tatum poured in 40 points as always. Tatum had an outstanding game. Tatum is just unreal.
Definitely taking strides over his career. I remember watching a guy at Duke, and I was like, hey, he's solid. Don't know if he's going to be a superstar.
Wow. Quickly was 15 to 28 from the field.
Yeah.
15 to 28 from the field. Awesome.
He's taking steps every year he's been in this.
Randall had 31. Wow. 11 to 22 from the field. Let's see. Barrett had let's see. Oh, he had 29. Yep. 38 for Quickly, 31 for Randall. Barrett had 29. And going down the line, Robinson had 13, 14 rebounds. Okay, let's get to the Celtics. Yeah, like I said, that game was crazy, dude. Just the fact that Quickly had an outstanding game, and as a bench player, you never would have imagined that a bench player, would show up like that, but he did.
Yep, provided a little Lynn sanity for the Knicks, throwing it back to 2011 with Jeremy Lin. But the East is wide open. I believe it's as much as I like what the Knicks are doing now, talent comes to talent in the playoffs, and it really matters. I really believe it's a 3-horse race for the Eastern Conference. And like I said, the 2 clear-cut front runners should be Milwaukee and Boston, with the dark horse being Philadelphia. Because if we could get James Harden playing like the 2017, 2018 James Harden, then good God almighty. And if we could get Tyrese Maxey stepping up and maturing a little bit, this Sixers team is pretty dangerous because they got some good defensive players with PJ Tucker, and they're pretty solid all around. Embiid doing Embiid things. But if they could get Harden to step his game up like it had been before he got obese and put into Madden, apparently. But no, if they can somewhat do that, then yeah, Philly's going to be a dark horse to look after in the Eastern Conference.
Yes.
Not really, because I'm a little concerned about Miami. I don't think they have it to get where they were last year. I don't. They ain't got no shooters, man. Kevin Love, he's proved he's a little old now. He don't got it anymore. Adebayo is the best player they got, but he's not a scorer. He's more of a defensive paint presence inside and outside.
Right.
They're big factor, and that Tyler Hero cannot put he cannot put that team on his back by himself. They need some shooters in the offseason. So we'll see what happens with Miami.
Exactly. We'll see what happens with Miami. And when the Golden State Warriors are starting to get their dominance a little bit back. Stephen Curry came back this weekend. against the Lakers in a losing effort, had 27 points on Sunday against the Lakers. And Curry, man, when he's healthy, I know, we all know as basketball fans that Curry is obviously the greatest shooter in the NBA. And when he's healthy, he gives that team every opportunity to win a game.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Golden State, they might just be crawling and yawning across to the finish line. But once it gets playoff time, man, I don't care what you say. It's a different animal come to playoffs. And there's something about that defensive switch that Golden State's been lacking all season. It's like it flips on for Draymond Green, Gary Payton, Andrew Wiggins, guys like that. Who Andrew Wiggins has been out, by the way. And people want to nag and ask Bob Myers, oh, well, why ain't you worried about Andrew Wiggins leaving? Leave him alone, dude. He's dealing with a family matter, and Bob Myers respects that, and this is why they are a loved front office in Golden State and San Francisco. He says, listen, the guy's a champion. He helped propel us to a championship. He's got family issues going on. I'm giving him his piece. He can take as long as time he needs. He'll be back, but family comes first. Family before basketball. And that is the most respected thing I could have heard because, man, Andrew Wiggins, he's been chewed up and spit out in Cleveland, chewed up and spit out in Minnesota, and he found a home in the Bay with Golden State and Steph Curry and the guys. So just to hear Bob Myers give him that much respect and say, you know what, let him take his time, let him deal what he's got to deal with, and he'll be back. I respect that because a lot of people, come back, trying to rush him back. You don't know what he's going through, dude. But yeah, Golden State, if they get Wiggins back and Gary Payton soon to return, Steph is already back. Klay Thompson's absolutely looking like Klay Thompson of 2018. This guy completely in the month of February has averaged 36 a game. Like he's had 3 40-plus point games. He's hit 12 threes in one game. Like Klay Thompson looks like the old Klay Thompson, the Klay that scored 64 points off of 3 dribbles kind of Klay Thompson. And if he gets that stroke in the playoffs, good luck. But as far as the West, though, dude, like I said, I think it's also a 3-horse race as well for the Western Conference. And this is going to surprise a lot of people. I think it's Denver. I think they're the clear-cut favorites. They got the MVP, Nikola Jokic, the Joker, back-to-back MVPs, definitely well-deserved. They got Jamal Murray back. Michael Porter Jr. looks like an absolute stud out there at small forward. But the second horse in this race, I'm going with the Sacramento Queens or the Kings.
Wow.
Let's put some respect on Mike Brown. He has took what he learned from the Golden State dynasty all the last 6 to 7 years under Steve Kerr, and he completely applied it to the Sacramento team. And this Sacramento Kings team is no joke. De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes, they're playing out of their mind. Domantas Sabonis playing out of their minds right now. And I don't trust them in the playoffs per se because I haven't seen them. Not because they're not good, not because I don't like them. I can't trust them right yet because of that factor. I got to see them in a playoff series. But my thing is Golden State is the third horse. You can't count Golden State out. I don't care. Yeah, the defense, they're horrible on the road. Like they have the best home record in basketball, but they stink on the road somehow. And I think it's just because they don't have motivation. They're just like, well, 4-time champs. I don't really care. And now when it gets to playoff time, I just would hate for Golden State to be a 6 seed or a 5 seed or whatever and have to play one of those upper notch teams because that's going to be a juggernaut of a series. Hopefully, Denver won't have the unfortunate task of hosting Golden State in the first round. I don't think so, but I think as of right now, if the playoffs started today, I don't know about the 7 and 8 seed, but I know for a fact it will be a juggernaut of a first round. You know why that is?
Why is that?
You'll be having Kevin Durant hosting the Steph Curry Warriors in the first round. You will have the old stomping grounds finally. And this is an interesting fact I found out. Kevin Durant, because of injuries over the years, has never played another game on Warriors ground. He has never played in the Bay because of injuries, suspension, sitting out, stuff like that, or different things. He's never played in Golden State since he left in 2019. So in that series, that would be his first time back in the Bay on the floor playing,
dude,
which is insane.
That is an excellent call.
I would love to watch that matchup, dude. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Andrew Wiggins. That would be definitely like top tier TV right there. Definitely.
It's just too bad if that is the case. That would be the first round of the playoffs. That could be a Western Conference semi or a finals matchup. That would be insane. That's going to be insane if that happens.
If the Grizzlies, and I know we'll talk about this in the second one, their drama, but if the Grizzlies slip and implode, I can see Golden State or Phoenix stepping up in that 2 or 3 slot, meaning Golden State would have to go through Denver, and it would be a possibility. Golden State Phoenix Western Conference Finals. I could definitely envision that. Definitely.
Right. And to get back to the numbers here on the Celtics, obviously Tatum this past Sunday against the Knicks had 40 points, and Jaylen Brown, his sidekick, had 29 points. And Tatum during that game, he went 12 of 30 from the field. Let me get back here. Okay. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, but anyways, yeah, like I said, like this game was crazy. Okay, here we go. I think I got it. Okay, here we go. Okay. Again, Tatum had 40 points, 12 of 30 from the field. Horford had 20, 7 of 15 from the field, not bad. Brown, he was 12 for 25. Going down the line. Marcus Smart at 13. Yikes, he was 4 of 13 from the field. Not good.
Jesus Christ.
Not good.
I think they should have let the I think they should have let the damn Leprechaun take Marcus Smart's spot in that game.
Yeah, and I think the same thing goes for White as well. He only had 12 points and he was 4 of 12 from the field. Ugh. But yeah, those are some of the numbers from that from the Knicks and Celtics crazy game on Sunday.
You know what? That goes back to their finals problems too, as far as the last 3 games of the NBA Finals and why they imploded. The role players got to step up. You can't just step down like you did in the finals. Other than, Jason Tatum was a big, large reason of that. But Derek White stunk in the last 3 games of the finals. Al Horford stunk in the last 3 games of the finals. Marcus Smart defensively stunk. He couldn't even shoot his way out of a paper bag either. Y'all got to step up, dude. If you want to win, you got to help Tatum and Brown. It's that simple.
Exactly. You have to have help, because if you don't have the help, you're not going to go far in the postseason. And as we all know, just like in the NFL and in the NBA, it is hard to get back to the NBA Finals.
Yes.
It is a grueling task. And those are some of the items from the NBA to talk about. And also, like you said, I can't forget about this one. The Suns took on the Mavericks this past weekend, and Kevin Durant dropped the dagger in front of Kyrie Irving and the Mavericks. And Booker and Luka were talking trash. And, oh yeah.
That's just a rivalry in the making. Like that gave me 90s basketball-esque, like just a trash talking. And then it even spilled after the game with Devin Booker or Luka threw some shade at Devin Booker. Like, next time, stop waiting till fucking 3 seconds to talk left in the game to talk shit. Talk all that shit from the start. I said, here we go. Because remember, last year, Devin Booker tried all that shit talking, and then Mavericks absolutely spanked their ass in Game 7.
That's right.
So Devin Booker might have PTSD from that series last year, why he won't talk shit to the end.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a great game, man. Luka's still Luka, and Kyrie's still Kyrie, and Kevin Durant. That was just a fun game to watch. I watched a little bit of it, first half of it. That was pretty fun to watch. It was a fun game.
Oh yeah. And moving along, Now to the big topic. What big topic are we talking about? Oh, yeah. The National Football League, what happened this week in the NFL.
You forgot one, Steven.
Oh, yeah?
About the John Morant.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. So, Kev, break this all down because we talked about this last week on the show, how the actions of Morant are just uncalled for, absolutely ridiculous, and he could be in a lot of trouble. So, Kev, the floor is yours. Break this all down.
Well, if you ever paid attention, about 2 months ago, after the Grizzlies played the Pacers, it came out with an accusation that, John Morant's inside party or his boys drove a dark SUV past some of the Pacers team members and aimed a gun at their chest with the red beam.
Oh, my God.
That was already the first accusation. So, okay, let it be. Fast forward now. And now you got the story that came out where he beat up a 17-year-old that we talked about last week, pistol whipped him, aimed a gun at him. And now, with that all doing that, what does John Morant mistakenly do? This dang clown goes on IG Live and posts a video of him holding a gun up. And, dude, you can't do that, man.
You cannot do that, dude.
I'm not against John Morant. Let me just say this. I like John Morant's game. I love his spirit. I love his athleticism, his energy, his game in general. But, I mean, I love it. I love some of his actions. Like, he's not that guy. He is not gangster that he's saying he is. And I'm not the one to call someone a false gangster or nothing like that. But like Shannon Sharp said, dude, we know who you are. You're a good, kind person. We've seen the viral clips of you tipping waiters $500 to be nice. Like, you're a genuine nice person. Why are you putting on to fit in with the wrong people? You're messing your career up, dude. You're putting it at risk. And what it mainly is you're hanging out with the wrong crowd, dude.
Exactly.
That crowd is going to get you shot. It's going to cost you your career. You could possibly get killed hanging with that crowd. You need to hang out with a better bunch of people, dude. And I'm not going to sit, and I respect John Morant for coming out and apologizing after and taking accountability, because that's the first step into changing his ways, is to take accountability and understand that he was wrong. Second step is people in the world do not need to make excuses for him. I don't want to hear his dad make excuses. I don't want to hear nobody make excuses, because when you make excuses, you give the perpetrator, you give someone like that a reason to keep doing that because he thinks he's going to get let off the hook.
Exactly.
You got to finally tell him where he done wrong. You got to say, dude, you're hanging with the wrong crowd. You shouldn't have had a gun on you. You shouldn't be acting that way because you're a leader of the Memphis Grizzlies. You're a leader of a multi-million-dollar organization, and you can't be acting like you're still 13 years old or still in high school because you're the face of the franchise. You just signed a $250 million deal last year that kicks in next year that you're completely risking because of a gun. And what makes it all worse is the timing, dude. The NBA has stood up. We've heard Steve Kerr's viral interview last year about the gun violence in this country. It's horrible. We watched people get shot at a Pee Wee football game. We're watching people, innocent lives, dying to the hands of a gun. And out of all things, John Morant now posts a gun. That is the most, come on, dude, with the way the world is now, trying to crack down on this gun violence and stand up to it. And now you're out here in the street with a gun on your chest. Come on, dude. That's not a good look, man. And I'm sorry, but now, because of that little IG Live video, he's getting investigated by the feds and the police of Colorado, because now, and it's also about to get investigated by the NBA, because technically, if he got the gun in Colorado strip club where he was, according to the law, you can't buy a gun if you're not a resident from that state. He's not a resident from Colorado.
Correct.
So that means he had to carry his gun on the plane with him, which is violation of the NBA gun policy, that they can't have no kind of guns on NBA premises or flights whatsoever. So he carried that gun from Memphis to Colorado. That is a 50-plus game suspension.
Right.
He is looking at a whole season of being suspended over a gun. Dude,
stupid.
Straight up, Ja. I love the kid. I really do. I think he talks a little too much, as long with the whole damn Grizzlies team. But I like it. I like his competitiveness. Don't ruin your career. You have such a bright future, dude. Don't ruin your career by stupid incidents like that. And also whose fault I point blame to very minorly is the organization. You need to have veterans on that team. You can tell this team has no veteran leadership whatsoever. None. God bless Steven Adams. He's trying his best, but he is the only veteran on that team. Everybody else is basically what they call them young, dumb, and broke, but without the broke, because they're filthy rich, obviously, but they're young and dumb. Like, they're just going out, oh, we're partying, we don't care. We're just going out there drinking, smoking weed, doing what we want, having a gun on. Come on, dude, stop that.
This right here, Kev, is going to derail the Memphis Grizzlies.
This is not Dylan Brooks. This is not Brandon Clark. This is not someone who isn't the face of the franchise. You were drafted with a number 2 overall pick in the draft a couple years ago. You are the face of the Memphis Grizzlies. Your team pushed Golden State, the eventual champions last year, to the brink of a Game 6, and now your franchise player wants to act dumb. I mean, come on, dude. Get your shit together, Ja. I'm glad you apologized, but dude,
your actions speak louder than your words. Your actions speak louder than your words. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous.
It really is, because I'm gonna start calling you Gilbert Arenas 2.0.
Right.
Come on, dude.
Look how his career turned out.
Because of the gun incident. It ruined his career.
Right.
He was a star for the Washington Wizards, and that gun ruined him. All because he wants to act like a gangster, dude. Just sometimes it's okay to be that corny guy who's making millions of dollars. It's not always cool to be a gangster and thinking you're fly because you're not, dude. Don't act like something you aren't.
That lifestyle will get you in trouble. No questions asked. And
it will get you kicked out of the league. It will get you shot. It will get you killed. Just stay away.
Morant can apologize all day long, but in the end, it's up to him to let his actions speak louder than his words do.
I pray for his sake. I just pray that the league is forgiven. I pray that he learned from his mistakes, and I pray that while he's gone away from the team, that he gets the help and understanding that he needs, and he quits hanging out with all these fucking people who's just going to get him in trouble. Do you want to know a perfect incident of a career gone wrong? Aaron Hernandez. Look at the company he kept around. This guy just signed a multi-million-dollar contract with the Patriots years ago and ended up committing a triple homicide. Dude, because of the company he was in, he thought he was a gangbanger. He thought he was in a gang. He thought he was cool. He thought someone didn't give him his money, he's going to shoot him. You can't do that, man. It's just you're heading down the wrong lifestyle, and I hope Ja realizes that someone shows him, like, look, man, it's not where you need to be. You need to get your head out of your ass and be the face that this team needs. You want to attract free agents? Being a gangster is not it. You want to attract free agents to Memphis and win a championship? Ball out. Do what you do. Keep bringing your team where you did last year. Keep improving. I mean, they're not going nowhere if Ja acts like this, because if they lose Ja, this Grizzlies team will self-implode, and that just speaks to how good Ja Morant truly is.
Exactly. Well said, my friend. And again, folks, before we move on to the NFL for this week's news, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at ON_Sports Show, Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to Our Nation Sports Show here on YouTube, where we are live right now on YouTube.com/Our Nation Sports Show. And we are back once again tonight on our regular scheduled day on Tuesday nights. And we are here to talk to you about the world of sports and getting in right now to the National Football League, because, folks, we are now 1 week away from one of the biggest weeks in football, and that is free agency. And we started out with a bang this week with quarterbacks just got paid today. They got definitely a pocket full of change. And Yeah. And starting out with this one, Daniel Jones, are you freaking kidding me? Some of these contracts are freaking stupid. 1 4-year contract for Daniel Jones. $160 million. $40 million guaranteed in the first year. Overall, $82 million is guaranteed. And matter of fact, I know Kev's got a bone to pick with this one, and I'll finish this and I'll let you give your thoughts on this, Kev. Saquon Barkley did not get signed. He got franchise tagged. Jones gets the contract. Your thoughts?
It goes back, and I know we're going to talk about it later, but
yep,
this just speaks about this fucking organization, dude. Like, Daniel Jones actually had the balls to ask for $46 million a year. And like Stephen A. Smith said, someone needs to drug test this kid right now for wanting that much. Dude, you're not top 15. And he's getting $40 million guaranteed, $40 million a year. And Lamar Jackson can't even get but a $32 million franchise tender. Come on, man. This guy won MVP. Daniel Jones wasn't even close to MVP. And the Giants didn't mind spending money on him. It's just Saquon was the reason the Giants succeeded so much. And what do? You put the tag on him. I mean, come on. You act like Daniel Jones was out there throwing for 5,000 yards and 48 touchdowns. For crying out loud, Saquon is the one who put this offense on his back, along with Brian DeBall, the head coach, and the defense's play. It wasn't Daniel Jones. He was just along for the ride. He was riding the wagon the whole year. He wasn't bad, but you could have plugged Jimmy G or somebody in there and still had just as much success. You could have plugged Derek Carr in there and had just as much success. He's not a game changer. Why is he making game-changing money? Come on now.
Exactly. Daniel Jones is getting paid as if he is worth this money. He's not even worth $40 million a year. This is just completely stupid. Come on. Saquon Barkley is worth that money, not Daniel Jones.
I'll tell you what, like you said, Stephen, like I just said, the Giants, to save themselves money, I promise you what they should have done, they should have let Daniel Jones walk. No other team was going to give him no damn $46 million. But here's my thing. I would have paid Saquon Barkley, and I would have brought in a veteran quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo, who would have only demanded like $30 million, saved you some money, and still be just as effective, if not more effective than Daniel Jones. Come on now. That's just dumb by the general manager.
Exactly. It is just ridiculous. Why are you spending money where it's not necessary on a player that's not even worth that? And yet he only has one playoff victory against the Minnesota Vikings that came, this past season. Come on. Get your head out of your ass. Give me a break. And moving on down the line in the National Football League, Derek Carr got paid $150 million contract on a 4-year deal, $100 million guaranteed with the New Orleans Saints. He's now their quarterback. And this begs the question, Kev, knowing now Tom Brady is officially gone from the National Football League and he is retired for good, even though Carr is the star quarterback of the NFC South as far as name value, can the Saints still win their division? Because as we know, the NFC South is a up and down, unpredictable division. Your thoughts?
They can, because of how bad the division is. But if you told me you were putting the New Orleans Saints against the Dallas Cowboys, against the Philadelphia Eagles, against the San Francisco 49ers, against the Seattle Seahawks, against the Detroit Lions, etc., they wouldn't stand a chance. It's just because of how bad the division is. There's so many concerns around this Saints team in general. Dennis Allen is a damn goof who was Derek Carr's first coach, by the way, in Vegas or Oakland, whatever the hell it was at the time. And he didn't pan out with Derek Carr. What makes you think he's going to pan out now with Derek Carr? Y'all act like the Saints are a built roster. Let's just completely completely ignore the fact that you're looking at Alvin Kamara maybe getting suspended the whole season. I mean, that's just that because of the battery and felony assault charges he just caught and the lawsuit for someone almost dying from that nightclub incident. He might not even be available to play. You got damn slant boy Michael Thomas can't play more than 2 games in 3 years. He's going to have to get cut. He's taking up too much damn salary. Then you got Taysom Hill. This is how bad this franchise is at paying money. You're going to pay a fucking backup quarterback, tight end / fullback, left guard, returner, whoever. It doesn't matter what he is. He just is all over the place. You're paying him more than you're paying other quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson. Come on, man. This man's making $30+ million a year. It's Taysom Hill, dude. He's not that good. And you're paying him that money. You got an old defense who they played good last year. They've showed some flashes. The only thing the Saints have going for them is rookie receiver Chris Olave. He's pretty solid. Everywhere else is so many questions. Like, they are negative $50 million in cap space, and you're going to go out and bend your back and kiss ass for a slightly better than mediocre quarterback. I'm sorry. I don't care who likes it or not. If you're telling me top 8, Derek Carr's not that. If it's not Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, I'm not bending over backwards spending all my damn money that I don't have on a damn quarterback. I'm sorry. That was the dumbest thing, because look at how many guys might end up having to get cut for the Saints to be in contention.
Right.
DeMario Davis, all-pro linebacker. They're probably going to have to cut ways with him just to make cap room. Tyrann Mathieu already taking up too much to be old as he is. Like, he's not even effective no more. Cam Jordan just signed a massive extension last offseason, and he's about 30+ years old. This Saints team is in cap hell. They're in draft hell. I don't know what the Saints are going to do, but they still have a shot of winning the division because of how bad it is. But before I do that, I want to see where the free agent chips may fall come to NFC South, because who knows? We could, for crying out loud, the way the NFL works, we might get damn Lamar Jackson to the Atlanta Falcons, for crying out loud. If you told me Lamar goes to the Falcons and they pick up 2 more free agents, the Falcons are going to run straight through the damn Saints. Same with the Panthers. If he goes to the damn Carolina Panthers, for crying out loud, they're going to run over the Saints. I just want to see where the chips fall come preseason. Come holler at me and ask me, and I'll let you know. But the Saints do have a chance. I got to see what goes on, because that division is straight horse shit.
Exactly. And also moving down the line, you had talking about it briefly. Now we're going to get to it. Lamar Jackson getting one of the biggest bombs dropped on him by the Baltimore Ravens, a non-exclusive franchise tag, $32 million.
What?
$32 million. If it was a guarantee, to preface this, if this would have been a guaranteed franchise tag, it would have been worth $45 million. This is unbelievable. I mean, Lamar Jackson, your MVP player, gets hurt in week 13 last season, did not play another down the rest of the season. Now, I know we've came on this show, we have talked about how he's not worth like the big money that Mahomes has, or, because he hasn't succeeded, in the playoffs, but he is still worth some value because he is their true definition of an MVP. Now, I understand Jackson's gripes, because just the way he thinks that he is in the NFL, as far as where he is in the National Football League, because he is a hell of an athlete when he's healthy. He can run the ball, and his throwing it's decent, it's pretty good, but Jackson, when he's healthy, he's a solid player. And I understand what he's saying, and the Ravens got to be out their freaking minds, because Jackson can still get traded or to any other team. Because if anybody, like the Jets or the Panthers or the Falcons, or hell, even the Packers, for Christ's sakes, if any of those teams, or the Raiders, you name it, if any of those teams make an offer that is higher than what the Ravens are asking for, the Ravens are not going to match that deal. because they're trying to basically say, okay, can we nudge you a little bit out the door, because we don't like you anymore, basically, to get the hell out of our sights. And I don't like the way the Ravens are handling this. Like, this is just so stupid. Like, hello, you have to have a quarterback to be the franchise player, to be the guy on your offensive side of the ball that is the definitive star. Now, Justin Tucker is their definitive player because he is the best kicker in the National Football League. But as far as to score touchdowns, we're not talking field goals, fellas. We're talking about touchdowns. I know I sound like AI right now, not a game practice. We're talking about touchdowns because Lamar Jackson scores touchdowns. You're going to underpay this guy, and yet he's been your best saving grace in over a decade when Joe Flacco was on his decline, and you're basically saying, the hell with you. We're going to push you out the door even further. I mean, this is a bunch of crap. I mean, I don't like it. I really don't like it how they're handling this. You're asking for nothing but trouble because any team, this, Kev, any team that is desperate for a quarterback, like the Falcons, like the Raiders, they're going to come nudging. Hell, even the fucking Niners, who Brock Purdy could be out for 6 to 8, possibly 10, 12 months, depending upon how his recovery goes. We don't know where Lance is going to be next season. Even the Niners could get this guy as an insurance policy. Who the hell knows? The fact of the matter is the Baltimore Ravens are playing with fire that they're gonna get burnt. Your thoughts on this?
Dude, I'm going to speak on my thoughts about Lamar first. That's just disrespectful to one of the former league MVPs in this league. Like, he won an MVP of the National Football League, and I get exactly why he wants that guaranteed money. Here's my thoughts on it. Because the guaranteed money, RG3 put it in perspective on Twitter one day. He said, look, man, I was that guy. I was running the read option every play in Washington in 2011, 2012. I was running the read option. And before I got my guaranteed money, before I got my insurance policy, I was out, and that ended my career. Like, I cost myself out of a lot of money. And that's what Lamar Jackson's saying. Like, bro, if I'm going to be the only offense you got, I want my money. You're not going out here spending millions for Mike Evans or legit receivers. You have a bunch of rookies and bottom of the draft players like Devin Duvernay and Rashad Bateman. That's your number 1 and number 2 wide receivers. Give me a break. You don't have Joe Mixon or Christian McCaffrey at running back. You have J.K. Dobbins. Come on, man. Which, I mean, no slang to him, but you don't got all pros on that offense. The only all pro you got is your left tackle Staley and your quarterback Lamar Jackson. And you don't want to pay Lamar Jackson the extra 13, even if the deal didn't get done, which I thought it should have got done first. If you didn't even want to pay the extra $13 million to ensure that he doesn't go anywhere else, that is ridiculous. $13 million when you're already not spending jack crap on any receivers that are in the market or any players on the offensive side of the market is completely bogus. You made one of the all-time greatest trades last year getting Roquan Smith. How do you follow it up? By not wanting to pay your star quarterback. That is ridiculous. And I love Ozzie Newsome. He's done a lot of great in the Ravens franchise. Hall of Fame tight end, by the way. But come up off that money, Michael Jordan Jr., because you just don't want to spend that money. And I read a stat that was interesting. The Ravens are 32nd in the league with spending money on offensive weapons. That is
crazy.
Sad. That
Crazy.
Means they don't want to sign any big-time players, and it's ridiculous. And you wonder why Lamar is demanding so much money. Now, that brings me to my other point. Some people might think, oh, Lamar doesn't deserve that, but you know whose fault it is? It's not Lamar's fault. Lamar is getting what he deserves based off of what the market is offering. You're out here paying fucking Daniel Jones $40 million, and you mean to tell me Lamar, if he deserves 40, Lamar deserves 50? It's that simple. Now, just like we talk about Mahomes, he signed his when the market went up. Mahomes is underpaid right now because of guys like Daniel Jones and Dak Prescott and Kyler Murray, who broke the fucking bank to be mediocre or slightly above.
Yep.
So Lamar deserves that money based off of what the quarterback market's offering. If this was 3 or 4 years ago, right, Lamar doesn't need to get 50 because he's not 50 million worth, but he deserves to be top 5 quarterback money wise all time or in the league because of what he's done. Is his passing like Josh Allen or Joe Burrow? No, not at all. But this guy's the best running quarterback since Michael Vick. It's no doubt because of the skill set he brings and the dual threat he brings with the option and like doing it with only Mark Andrews as a receiver is absolutely insane. So yes, Lamar deserves that money. I mean, for crying out loud, Derek Carr signed 40, got 40 million. Come on, dude. Lamar runs circles around Derek Carr and guys like that. He runs circles around Daniel Jones. He runs circles around Dak Prescott. So he does deserve his money. And Ozzie Newsome, I think you're playing with fire, dude. Because over $13 million with that franchise tag, if you would have paid the extra 13, he would have got 45. He definitely deserves more than that, but he would have got to 45. Right. But that 45 would have ensured him that no other team can put in an offer. By him taking the $32 million exclusive franchise tag, non-exclusive, that means he's a restricted free agent, essentially.
Exactly.
Some team can be dumb enough to go offer him $300 million. Guaranteed, fully guaranteed. We seen what the Browns did when they were desperate for Watson. You literally knew he was going to be suspended for the majority of the season, and you paid him, and that's what opened this damn floodgates of hell open. You offered a predator, and I won't get into that, but you offered this jabroni who hasn't played football in 2 years, $250 million, all guaranteed money. And to watch how bad he looked last year and watch how he'd be suspended, that is why quarterbacks want their guaranteed money, is because stupid shit like that. Or Russell Wilson in Denver. Like, good God almighty, that's $250 million you're just wasting. And there will be a team like the Broncos. Well, not them necessarily, but they will do what the Broncos did. They will do what the Cleveland Browns did. There is a team, unless your quarterback is Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, you got to be thinking about that. You got to be thinking, hey, can we snag Lamar? Like anybody else other than them 4 or 5 quarterbacks has got to be thinking of an upgrade. The Miami Dolphins may be a spot to look out for. Can you imagine Tyreek Hill and Lamar Jackson? Lamar will have weapons now. Finally. I would like to see Lamar with weapons. Could you imagine Lamar anywhere? What if the Steelers? What if they decide, you know what? Fuck it. Mike Tomlin says, I'll pay you, dude. Here's $200+ million guaranteed. What if he's that guy? I mean, what, like we seen the Jets. What if the Jets do it if they can't snag Rodgers? They're willing to pay Rodgers $50+ million on a trade. Why not go after Lamar and pay him that $50+ million? You know what I'm saying? So there are teams that like Ozzie Newsome's basically hanging Lamar out of the door by the thread of his jersey, and when someone snags him up, it's too late. He won't be able to go back. So I think Ozzie Newsome and company is making a horrible, horrible decision with this franchise tag.
Exactly. And to add to what Joey is saying here in the comments here, he says that Daniel Jones is not even, he's barely top 20. And Joey also says, I personally think that Baltimore has lost their minds because Lamar Jackson is definitely the best quarterback that Baltimore has seen in the QB days since the Joe Flacco days. And him being placed on the non-franchise tenure is ridiculous. It's basically them saying that they don't want to commit to him full time, and that is a piss poor way to handle your star cute quarterback who bent over backwards for his teammates.
Exactly, the only offense you got. Because look at the box score: Lamar Jackson run to the left, Lamar Jackson run to the right, Lamar Jackson pass to the left, Lamar Jackson pass.
Exactly, Joey.
Good God Almighty, he's literally 90% of their offensive usage. It's ridiculous. It's like LeBron James in basketball, dude. Like, he's always going to be a part of the offensive play at all times, and you don't want to pay someone like that? Like, come on, dude.
And Joey just said it right there. I hope, honestly, he goes somewhere else because he doesn't need Baltimore. Baltimore needs him. That is the excellent take.
Excellent, dude. I mean, who wouldn't want to go like Miami? Who wouldn't want to go live on South Beach and play with the fastest player in the league and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Mike McDaniel, offensive guru? And who wouldn't want to go play for that offense? I mean, anywhere. Tampa Bay might be a place of destination. I mean, I don't think so because of their salary cap.
Right.
But, I mean, you never know. He
Right.
could go out west. What if the Niners decide they want to get in on the
Right.
Super Bowl? Who would want to play?
Exactly.
Who would not want to play with Christian McCaffrey in that offense? Good God Almighty.
Dude.
What if not the Chargers because they got Herbert, but what if the Rams try to go all out?
Right.
What if, like, you never know,
Right,
dude?
right. And, and that's why I think the Niners could be a nice fit for him because Lamar Jackson is a running quarterback, and that would work with Kyle Shanahan's offense. That could be, that could be the insurance policy that they need until Purdy comes back, and
like I said, there should at least be 24 teams in the hunt to actually attempt. What if he said, fuck it, I lost my damn mind and I want to play for Charlotte? What if the Panthers go
right?
Jesus Christ. They got more, and I hate to say this, but they have more talent on the Panthers offense than the Ravens had for him at receiver and stuff. I'm sorry, outside of Mark Andrews, don't get me wrong. Let me not throw shade on a top 3 tight end in football, but outside of Mark Andrews, the Panthers have more weapons. DJ Moore and company are better than anybody the Ravens have. I mean, even the Falcons have Cordero Patterson, Tyler Algier. The Ravens have diddly squat. They got a defense though, but come on, dude.
And to add to this too at the end, Joey just said it best. Basically, what the Ravens are doing to him, this is basically like a slap to the face. After all he's done for them, screw you. Get out of our sight. Just ridiculous the way Baltimore's handling this. Because if they don't want him, somebody in need of a quarterback will get him. They will sooner rather than later. And also, again, folks, before we move on here with this NFL talking point, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at @ON_sports show, Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show, and where we are live right now on YouTube.com/Our Nation Sports Show. Don't forget to like this video, share this video with your family and friends who love sports. And also, folks, don't forget to follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner. Everywhere else on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, it is at The Nation's Corner. And don't forget to join everybody this Saturday on the Nation's Corner live, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific time as they recap AEW Revolution from San Francisco, highlighted by MJF and the American Dragon Bryan Danielson's epic 60-minute into sudden death overtime Iron Man match. Classic. Absolute classic. Also, the Elite took on House of Black for the Trios Tag Team Championships. And also, Le Champion, the Demo God, Chris Jericho, took on Absolute Ricky Starks in a banger of a match to kick off the pay-per-view. I mean, just unbelievable. And Christian Cage and Jungle Boy, Jack Perry in the final burial match. That was a crazy match. And overall, I thought the pay-per-view Sunday night was a really good pay-per-view. Don't forget to join the crew this Saturday as they recap all of the action from AEW Rampage in San Francisco from this past weekend. Like and subscribe to the Nation's Corner. And moving along in the NFL, the New York Jets are going to be flying out. Some members of the Jets are going to be flying out to meet with our favorite little diva and Ezra's favorite diva, AAron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers, to talk about possibly getting the 43-year-old quarterback in a trade to come to the Jets. And I honestly think that this is a bad situation for Rodgers. Because if he goes to the Jets, just like Russell Wilson, his career, even though it's already on the decline, it is going to be killed at the hands of the Jets' new offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett. Kev, I know you have a lot of thoughts on this when it pertains to Rodgers, the situation. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Is he going to get traded to the Jets? Your thoughts?
Bad for Rodgers? I got to disagree. I think it's bad for the Jets. The Jets are building something pretty good. They don't need a $50 million diva to come in here who already game has been declining for the last year. Like Aaron Rodgers, you can run your mouth and place your blame all you want, Rodgers, on. I didn't have no receivers. Christian Watson's a hell of a talent. Robert Tonyan is a great tight end. I mean, you got a great running back duo in Green Bay, and you couldn't get the job done. You were 1 for 5 against the Lions in a win or go home game in week 18 in the fourth quarter, and because you threw a pick and you were just inaccurate. The Jets just need someone to make the right decisions. They don't necessarily need Aaron Rodgers. They need someone to make the right decision, a quarterback. I would take anybody that's a little cheaper, possibly go get some more receiver or some more weapons, but that's it. I wouldn't try to go all in on Aaron Rodgers. But if they do get Aaron Rodgers, man, this will be coming full circle because remember, like we talked about the comparison with Brett Favre and his 3-year antics of being a diva at the end of his Packer run, where did he get traded to? The New
Jets.
York Jets. Now, Aaron Rodgers could be traded to the New York Jets. Man, this shit would be coming full circle between the two divas, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Oh, my God, I can't wait to see this.
You know what would make this even better, bro? If down the line, if Rodgers is still even playing in the NFL, if he gets traded again or he signs with his arch rivals, the Vikings.
And then throws a game-ending pick in the championship game.
Yes. One more shot at glory and Rodgers screws it up. That'd be funny. And before we continue, shout outs to William Gyron in the chat. What's up, good sir? How you doing? And can't wait to have Randy back on the show. And we know Randy's absolutely happy that his favorite quarterback, in sarcasm, Tom Brady, is officially retiring a month ago at the Super Bowl. And what's going on there, William? How you doing there, pal? And thanks for joining us tonight here in the live YouTube chat. And this whole Rodgers situation, Kev, I actually have to agree. Go ahead, sorry.
About Tom Brady retiring. He spoke today about the rumors of him coming back, and basically he said he ain't got no intentions to, because now he's the proud father of a 2-month-old kitty.
Oh,
so he don't have time to play in the football league no more. He's not coming back.
Yep.
He's a proud father of a kitty cat.
Yep.
He'd make Randy proud.
Way to go, Tom. Sprocket. Anyways, Kev, I have to agree with you when it comes to this situation with the Packers, Rodgers, and the Jets. This is bad for the Jets because when you look at it, because see, the media, the national media is going to go, oh, how is this going to affect Rodgers? No, look at it from a Rodgers standpoint and look at the Jets, because look what the Jets have built. They have had Mike White as their backup quarterback last year. Absolutely, when he was healthy on the field and even non-healthy, he was a gunslinger for this organization. Zach Wilson, on the other hand, he's a bum. He's inconsistent. He doesn't know where to throw, half the time. He doesn't pay attention to the trajectory of the ball when it leaves his fingertips. But Mike White is the future of that franchise. And you mean to tell me you're going to go after the diva that has led that Packers down to its literal demise? And the media and ESPN and CBS and NBC, you name it, Fox. Oh, what about Rodgers? What about Rodgers? Blah, 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 blah. Quit looking at it from one player's perspective. Look at the organization that is going to affect from years to come. Because Kev, we talked about this with the Los Angeles Rams. Yes, Matthew Stafford did go to the Rams in 2021. Yes, he did win the Rams that lone Super Bowl against the Bengals 2 seasons ago. But in the long run, that destroyed the Rams in the draft to get significant draft picks. This right here could damage the Jets' chances in the draft for years to come if he gets traded, because as we all know, Rodgers is going to be a huge asking price from the Packers to get rid of him to the Jets. And the Jets are going to get hit big time in the money. It's a bad move. Bad move. Bad move if this happens. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Just a stupid move. Stupid move. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has literally done nothing but fail these last couple of seasons in the NFL. Made it to the championship game against the Buccaneers. and he doesn't call an audible and go for it to score a touchdown against the Bucks to go to the Super Bowl. And then, the previous year against the Niners, you get your asses stomped in the title game, 55 to what? 17-28, whatever the hell it was. He got run out the field by the Niners running game. And then fast forward to last season, Rodgers couldn't get it done, and 2 years ago, I'm getting ahead of myself. 2 years ago, losing to San Francisco in the first round in the division round, of the playoffs in the snow when Robbie Gould kicked that field goal. And then last year, Rodgers obviously misses the playoffs completely because of his demise. Rodgers is not the same player that he was for the past several seasons. And I think ultimately this is not a good move for the Jets if they decide to go down this route to get AAron Rodgers, because again, folks, reporting from Adam Schefter that the New York Jets are going to be flying out and meeting with AAron Rodgers to see where they stand on a contract as far as getting him traded from the Packers to the Jets. And that is going to take a huge, massive contract. And also, speaking of free agency, I totally forgot about this, Kev. And this pertains to our Niner team. Robbie Gould is no longer going to be kicking for San Francisco. He's going to be a free agent. He talked about how he enjoyed his years with San Francisco and how he was proud to be a part of that organization. But he said he wants to test out, the free agency market. And
reading about it, it wasn't really his want. It was kind of what the Niners wanted. And the Niners said they were going to wait till they scouted kickers and they were going to let Robbie kind of know what they were going to lean toward. But I think they're doing it more of salary cap saving, kind of saving the salary cap. Because if they got Nick Bosa to extend next season. So there's $28 million going down to Nick Bosa's bank account right there. So I think it's a smart decision. I mean, it might come back and bite them in year one because you never know with clutch kickers. But say they draft someone like ice cold Evan McPherson, someone like that, like we seen the Bengals draft, they could draft him one. And they got an eye for scouting. So I think that's going to be I think that will work out for them in the long run. But I forgot, you missed one quarterback signing too that we got to talk about. Geno Smith.
That's right. Yep. Thank you for that. Thank you.
3 years, $105 million or something like that. He got like 35 a year.
Good for him. And Geno Smith absolutely deserves this. I forgot to type this in my notes. Thank you very much for reminding me of that. And Geno Smith absolutely deserves that contract, unlike Daniel Jones, because Smith revived his career thanks to Pete Carroll being a part of that huge turnaround for Geno Smith. And Geno Smith last year put up some great numbers for Seattle. They got into the playoffs. Ultimately, they met their maker in San Francisco in the playoffs. But Geno Smith, hell of a season last year. He deserves the contract. And
it's just unfortunate that he's got to see Nick Bosa 3 more times, 3 more years. So you deserve the money, buddy, but good luck with Nick Bosa for the next 3 years.
Yep.
Go Niners.
Yep. And also to add to what Randy just said here in the comments, glad you're back. Glad you're back with us here in the chat, dude. You missed the show. Glad you're here, dude. And he says, I'm so sick and tired of these prima donna quarterbacks. They should go to the XFL. LOL.
No, they should go to Bishop Sycamore.
Oh, God. Yeah, I honestly think that they should go to the XFL because The Rock could look at them and go, who in the blue hell are you? Oh, that would be fantastic. And speaking of fantastic, Dallas Cowboys running back Tony Pollard received the franchise tag from the Dallas Cowboys. He will be sticking with the Cowboys for another season, this upcoming season, and Tony Pollard is deserving of that franchise tag since they could not come to an agreement on a full-time contract yet. But Tony Pollard last year got the tag, well deserved, and I'm looking for Pollard to have another outstanding season with the Cowboys this upcoming season. And Pollard is their best player on the offensive side of the ball. The dude can run in between the tackles, run to the outside. He can catch the ball in the backfield, go down the field, score touchdowns in multiple fashions, you name it. So give us your thoughts on the Cowboys franchise tagging their star running back, Tony Pollard.
Yeah, I think Tony Pollard, they kind of messed it up because they're using him as a 1-year rental again, and I think they kind of screwed it up. So they should have got rid of Zeke and ended up paying Tony Pollard. So I think they're going to regret that come next year.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that because Ezekiel Elliott's numbers have declined over the years and Tony Pollard's numbers have shot up through the stratosphere. And I really like this move, of them at least keeping him. But I do agree that they should have signed him to a full-time contract because he is the definitive running back for the Dallas Cowboys. Absolutely, for sure. So that is that with that as far as the NFL signings for now. As far as quarterbacks and the franchise tagging. And there's still to be more to come for sure. And, and there's just a lot going on. Now, as far as.
Well, hold on, Stephen. Actually, if you want, I got a list pulled up right here of all the franchise tag players.
All right, go ahead, brother.
Of course, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley.
Yep.
Half of them are bullshit. Tony Pollard. Josh Jacobs was franchised by the Las Vegas Raiders.
Good.
Las Vegas Raiders franchise tag or Josh Jacobs, and I believe that's it. Tony Pollard, of course, and Evan Ingram of Jacksonville.
Evan Ingram, good call. Good call on Ingram. And again, folks, there's going to be a lot more coming down the pipe this week and next week when it comes to free agency, because who knows what's going to happen, because just the stories just keep popping up left and right, and you never know what's going to happen, especially in this offseason because it's getting crazy.
Yeah, about the Chiefs too. They let go two of their big time players. Orlando Brown's not going to be ain't going to be retained, and of course, Frank Clark will not be retained as well.
Wow.
Yeah, both.
So that right there is huge for the Chiefs as far as that's kind of a huge blow for them, especially one on the offensive line and also on the defensive side of the ball. And Frank Clark was a huge part of those two Super Bowl championship victories. But knowing the Chiefs and how they operate, they will find somebody in the offseason or in the draft to plug in and to get back on the winning track, because that's what the Chiefs do. But the offensive line situation is interesting because now that Orlando Brown is no longer there, somebody that needs an offensive lineman will go out there and snatch him up from the
that's a franchise left tackle. He definitely will get snatched up. But I'm more liking the Frank Clark because in 2021, if you don't remember, the 49ers actually tried to come up with a package to trade for Frank Clark. So maybe the 49ers could be interested as Frank Clark as the opposite end rusher of Nick Bosa in this upcoming free agency. So I'm kind of going to keep my eye on that one.
Good call. Good call. You never know, man. If the Niners can somehow snag Frank Clark to be beside the defensive player of the year, Nick Bosa, that would be outstanding. Outstanding. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
And also the Rams are basically in rebuild mode. Expected to trade Jalen Ramsey sometime this offseason. Matthew Stafford contemplating retirement. Bobby Wagner was cut, and Bobby Wagner could also go join an NFC South team. I heard he could join the Falcons or the Panthers. I also heard they're going to expect to cut Leonard Floyd, their best edge rusher, on the Rams. The Rams are in rebuild mode officially.
Yes, and the price to play the game of winning a Super Bowl has come to bite them in the long run.
Yes, just like the Lakers in basketball. That theory of fuck them picks. If that was a person, it was the Rams this year and the Lakers. They have no draft capital, no cap space. They're pretty much fucked up and down. So
yes, they are for sure. And again, folks, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at @ON_Sports Show. Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show, and also where we are live right now on YouTube.com/Our Nation Sports Show. And again, thanks to our buddy, co-host of Our Nation Sports Show, Joey Thornton, JT, joining in the chat tonight, and our buddy Randy Gyron's father, William Gyron, joining in the live YouTube chat tonight. Thank you again for being here tonight, fellas. And again, folks, don't forget to follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter, at Nation's Corner, everywhere else on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. It is at The Nation's Corner. You can catch the Nation's Corner live every Saturday on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific time, and also throughout the week, because the Nation's Corner has been getting some banger interviews with some independent professional wrestling talent. So be on the lookout. Nation's Corner on location, coming right at you. And
Steven, I got to address one thing that was floating around all week that is kind of got under my skin this week, and it's the fact that the 49ers are interested in Baker Mayfield.
What?
Yes.
Go ahead. Go.
Quarterback, kind of like what Josh Johnson was supposed to be in the championship game. You want to keep that third quarterback because of that reason. Maybe we'll have a competent quarterback. But they said Baker Mayfield. But I'll give you a name who I want to bring in San Francisco, to be honest.
Who's that?
Jacoby Brissett.
Really?
He wins. He did a better job with Cleveland than Deshaun Watson, their $250 million quarterback.
Hell, he wasn't too shabby with the Colts now, was he?
No, He wasn't either. He won more than anybody else.
Yeah.
I would not be mad
Good call.
if we can get him at a cheap piece to be a third quarterback or be Brock and Trey's backup to mentor them to kind of go along for the ride. And if we need him in a big time game, I know we can at least get some kind of competent quarterback, not one in a championship game where we just But there is also one more franchise tag that did not get tagged that we talked about last week.
Who's that?
Jesse Bates did not get the tag.
That's right. I forgot about that one.
Free agent.
Yep.
Also linked to the 49ers and the Seahawks.
Dude, Jesse Bates, I think, is going to go to either San Francisco or Seattle. I'm
not so sold on San Francisco because I know what John Lynch is doing. He's trying to preserve the money to sign Nick Bosa next year. Right. Like we did Debo last year. We're just trying to keep the money, make sure we can afford those guys. We don't want to end up like the New Orleans Aints and ain't got no damn money because that's exactly what we call them. They ain't got no damn money, no draft capital. But yeah, I see what we're doing. I think Jesse Bates, honestly, I think he stays with Cincinnati, man. I think they find a way to get a deal done.
Yep. And to add to this, William Gyron thinks that Zeke should be gone, and I agree with that. And also, he thinks that Frank Clark should be accommodated because he won the Super Bowl. Obviously, this 2 out of the last 4 years, no matter where he signs. So I agree with that.
If I'm Frank Clark, I'm not going nowhere less than a championship contending team.
Right.
That's just that. Like I said, in the NFC, I might think of Philadelphia. I might think of San Francisco. I might think of Dallas. Maybe. Think if I'm going AFC, I might think of Cincinnati. I might consider that.
Right.
Something that's going to be a guaranteed contender.
Good. Here's to add to that, Kevin, another good point about that. Frank Clark knows the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
And if the Bengals can snatch him up, he can tell them the entire freaking playbook.
He can change it up.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. And if there's one thing that we learned from this KC team, they've learned how to bounce back. Even when a star player like Tyreek Hill or the Honey Badger, Tyrann Matthews, leaves in free agency last season. And the Chiefs definitely bounced back this year, beating the Eagles in the Super Bowl 38-35. Super Bowl 57 champions, their second Super Bowl in 4 seasons. And again, folks, we are looking forward to next week as far as what is to come, as far as the NFL, as far as the news, the trades, the signings, the tags, you name it. We will be all over this next week on our Nation Sports Show live next week, as Ezra will be back with us next week. And Kev, I know we talked about this in the pre-show, but I kind of wanted to. This has been fresh on my mind, and I know this has been on your mind. And this is complete ridiculous. And if you don't know what we're talking about, we were talking about this during the pre-show, and that is today on First Take, Kendrick Perkins absolutely made an ass out of himself, throwing the race card against the NBA MVP voters on Nikola Jokic, it's a race thing, why he's getting the votes that he's getting, that is a bunch of bullshit. It does not matter what the color of your skin is as an athlete. What matters is what numbers you're putting up as an athlete. Are you the de facto MVP of your organization? If the answer is yes, you deserve to be MVP. That is the true definition. The race card ain't got a damn thing to do with how good you are as an athlete. If you're black, if you're white, if you're Hispanic, if you're Asian, it doesn't mean a damn thing. And JJ Redick, I have to give him props for absolutely standing his ground on national television against Kendrick Perkins, calling him out on his bullshit and basically saying, dude, what in the hell are you talking about? Because what you are saying is completely stupid. And the only reason why you're saying this, and I agree with this, Kev, you agree with this, and Charles Barkley from TNT,
Yes.
Turner Sports, we all agree that this is why we do not watch Sports Center primarily or national sports on television. It's because of bullshit like this. Because you have people out there on national television, on the national media that go on there and they think that, oh, just because I'm on national television, I will say the most stupidest, asinine take just to get clicks, just to get article clicks on what I said in the press. They know what's going on. Kendrick Perkins knows what's going on. He's not stupid. That's why he's saying this stuff on television, especially on First Take. And honestly, this is why I don't care for First Take per se, because all First Take is, it is them trying, they're basically the TMZ of national sports coverage on ESPN. They are the reason why ESPN is where it is at right now. Because really, honestly, there is no true personalities on ESPN except for Scott Van Pelt, really. Because Scott Van Pelt brings some pizzazz, and he gives his honest opinion on the topic at hand. He's not going to sugarcoat no bull crap. That's how Scott is. But you got guys like Kendrick Perkins that are on television that are saying the stupidest things just to get a click on an article, and it pisses me off. And Charles Barkley said it best today on TNT. He said this, I've been talking about this ESPN disease. When I come on here, and I'm just elaborating what he said, I'm not reading verbatim word for word what Barkley said, but Barkley is spot on what he said. Barkley basically said, this is what I call ESPN disease. You know me, as long as I've been on national television, I'm not going to come on here and say stuff just for click, to get clicks on stuff and on stories and all that stuff. I come on here and I give my honest, true opinion. That's basically what Barkley was saying. And you don't see Shaq, you don't see Barkley, you don't see Kenny the Jet Smith, you don't see Ernie Johnson, you don't see Candace Parker or anybody in that organization covering the National Basketball Association coming on that platform and making an ass out of themselves. And that's what guys like Kendrick Perkins are doing. Now, Kev, I know you have some thoughts on this. Give us your thoughts on this whole situation and how Redick handled himself against Kendrick Perkins and what Barkley said.
Kendrick Perkins he contradicts himself so much, because last time I checked, Nikola Jokic is averaging all those stats while his team is first place in the West. He has the best team in the West. It's because of the color of his skin, and now Kendrick Perkins is making some absurd analyst and takes just for clicks and just for popularity. Like JJ Redick's tired of it, and I agree with him. He said, man, listen, Kendrick Perkins, did you have a problem when Russell Westbrook won MVP averaging basically the same stats with the eight-seeded Thunder? Okay, then. So why do you now have a problem with Nikola Jokic doing the same as a center, putting up those stats and assists and stuff? Come on, dude. And they're the best team in the West, but it's just absurd to even think, oh, there's white vote getters that only vote for Nikola Jokic. Shut it up, dude. Just stop it. I mean, Jesus Christ! If that was the case, Luka Doncic should have been MVP last year or the year
Exactly.
in the bubble, but he wasn't. He wasn't. Giannis was, but all the white vote getters did it. Come on, dude, stop that shit.
You didn't
man.
see the NBA media saying this when Russell Westbrook, the 8th seed of the Oklahoma City Thunder, was putting up triple-double numbers. They weren't saying this. They weren't saying this crap
until Jokic does it. And I'm like, why? Jokic is a monster, dude. Like, I love his game. He don't play defense. But hell, neither did Westbrook. They're about the same player at that time. One's a center and one's a point guard, obviously, but they said one could shoot, but I digress. No, Jokic is the MVP, man. And just like Charles Barkley said today on Twitter, he said, man, just to watch Kendrick Perkins go out there and shame that man when that man ain't do nothing but lead his team to the best record in the West, home court advantage throughout the playoffs in the West, averaging a triple-double, and you going to sit there and put shame on that man? Shame on you, Kendrick Perkins. That's just bum behavior, man. And it's crazy because his NBA takes are coming from a player who averaged 1.9 points a game in a damn season.
Right, and also
not good. Perkins is not good.
Exactly.
JJ one of the best three-point shooters of all time. Cool. I respect his analysts. I respect his takes. He keeps it real. He's the new media, like Draymond Green calls it. Like the new media will talk about basketball because they know basketball. They play basketball. And I'm not just meaning Kendrick Perkins playing basketball, tagging along for championships. They actually were good at basketball. Like they
exactly.
helped. JJ Redick was a key part of his team. Draymond was a key part of their championship run. Guys
exactly.
like that. And then you got these bums like Ryan Hollins or Kendrick Perkins who make the absolute worst take. Ryan Hollins went on there a couple years ago. I don't know if you remember, and this is more clickbait. Said Kobe Bryant wasn't even top 20 all time.
Oh, please.
Wasn't even a top 10 Laker. Said Derek Fisher was a better Laker.
I don't recall. I don't do this again. I keep prefacing this. This is why I don't watch Sports Center. This is why I don't watch First Take, because of stupidness like this. Because
coincidentally, though, Stephen, I don't mean to cut you off, but coincidentally, Shaquille O'Neal was on the same episode, and he about had a. He said, if you want my complete analyst, Kobe might be the best Laker of all time, and that includes Kareem and Magic. I said, you know what? Shout out Shaq, man. He'll keep it real with you. And then Ryan Hollins had the nerve to say Steph Curry wasn't a top 10 shooter of all time already. But at that point, he just had 400 plus threes in the season in the 2016 season. But said that, and Shaq about fell out his chair. Shaq ain't never been on ESPN since. He didn't be on. He never came back on First Take.
Right. And also, real quick, to go back into the chat here, William says that the Chiefs remind him of the San Antonio Spurs because the Chiefs constantly rebuild and add different pieces. And Joey says on the topic with Redick, he basically says, this is why he's getting hate worldwide, because Kendrick Perkins takes his takes way too far, and kudos to Redick for standing up in his face and going after him. And Williams says, sides, what the heck did Perkins do in the NBA? He was a bench player. Exactly. The only thing that he basically did, he essentially was a starting bench player for the 2008 Boston Celtics team that won the NBA Finals.
Yeah, exactly. And that is why I wonder, like, how are you going to average 1.9 points a game and then go out there and tell Kevin Durant where he's messing up and why he can't score? Like, you go score it in if it's that easy, big fella. You're out there telling a scoring champion what he's doing wrong, but you average 1.9 points a game and 2 rebounds in a championship series with the Thunder, by the way, and let Kevin Durant down. So quit what? Come on, dude. You bum.
And this is why I keep saying this, and we keep saying this, and I know a lot of sports YouTubers out there will say this. I know Urinating Tree has said this in one of his videos on YouTube, that we are in a day and age in the world of the internet where you don't need to go to television to look for great opinions on sports in the NBA, NFL, baseball, NHL, you name it, MMA, you name it. Because on the internet is where you're going to get the true, honest opinions from sports YouTubers like ourselves, like Tree, and everybody else out there that does this stuff for fun. We love our sports. We're not going to come on here and just say some clickbait bullshit to get a freaking reaction out of people, because we give our honest opinions on the topics at hand. Because when we come on here during the NFL season, we're not looking at scorecards on what we think these picks are going to be. We are legitimately coming on here off the top of our heads, and we are saying, I wonder what score this game is going to be. And we're thinking out loud, and if we can't figure out a score of a game, we go to the next person. That's how we do this. And we legitimately come up with this stuff on the fly. Now, there has been times when we've been off the show, for personal reasons or doing other commitments that came up during the week, and we given our predictions. And we may give our scores on one game, and then we don't give our scores in the next, and then we change our picks and stuff. But anyways, this is why we do not. This is why we give our honest opinions on here. We don't come on here and give takes just to give clicks and stuff. That's how we are. And it is just, that's how we are. We're honest sports fans. And when we come on here for the fun of it, and we give honest takes, and we don't just say stuff to get clicks on these videos. We come on here because we love doing what we love to do, and talking about sports and having fun, cutting up and all that good stuff. And people like Kendrick Perkins continue to ruin the national media in the world of sports, because when they come on television, they come up with opinions that's not truthful. They come up with opinions because they know whatever they're going to say, it's going to get published to the internet, and they're going to have a reaction. And that's how this is. And KP, you should be ashamed of yourself, bro, for even pulling the race car card on Nikola Jokic, because this is just completely stupid. This is so wrong on so many levels. You weren't doing this crap when Russell Westbrook was the MVP, when he averaged a triple-double the entire season, when the Thunder was the 8th seed. The 8th seed. You didn't say that when he was the MVP. Clear front runner that year when he won the MVP. I believe it was like in 2017, 2016, something like that. But anyways, that right there is the reason why I don't follow First Take, because First Take is a show for people that love to listen to these people come on here. And the only person that really has any spunk on that show is Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith actually has some form of personality. Kendrick Perkins has no personality. He has no charisma, nothing, absolutely nothing. All he does is come on television and he makes an ass out of himself.
And that's exactly how they beefed with Draymond last year, because Draymond told the truth. This man sit there and had the audacity to sit there and accuse Draymond of being scared to score the basketball, but that's not his role. He said, man, if you knew anything about basketball and knew about roles, and you would know that's not my role. I score when I have to, but my role is to get Steph and Clay the damn ball. And you out there acting like a damn buffoon and clowning yourself. Come on, dude. And Perkins was jabbing at him back and forth. Remind you, this is the same guy who in the NBA Finals predicted a Game 6 in the Garden that Steph Curry would not make a single three and be held to 5 points. That game, by the way, Steph had 37. So, yeah, Kendrick Perkins is absolutely – he's got to go, dude. He's horrible.
He has to go because of takes like this. Like, he continues to shoot himself in the foot. I mean, and he continues to put his words in his mouth. I mean, he's saying stuff just to get a rile out of people because he knows he gets a reaction from Stephen A. Smith. And he got an honest reaction from J.J. Redick on television. And again, kudos to Redick for standing up in front of him and calling him out on his crap. Like, it's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. And guys like Barkley, Shaq, Johnson, Kenny the Jet Smith, they're honest people. Reggie Miller, he's an honest guy. Candace Parker, she's honest. She's a current athlete in the WNBA. And they give their honest opinions. That's why TNT, to me, is still head and shoulders above any other basketball coverage because they have personalities. They have Kevin Harlan, one of the best play-by-play commentators in sports. You got Reggie Miller, Hall of Fame basketball player. You name it.
Stan Van Gundy.
Stan Van Gundy. is doing unbelievable
I
behind the
love
booth.
him as a commentator, dude.
He is
Reggie
amazing.
Miller are awesome, and Kevin Harlan.
Just unbelievable. I mean, TNT has the best sports coverage in the NBA.
Especially the TNT show with Shaq and Kenny and Charles and Ernie.
Inside the NBA, yes.
All sports. It's so good, man.
And you know your show is good when that game or that show is basically in 2K for the past several years.
Oh, for a long time, dude. Like
It's
Shaq,
amazing.
Man, I love it, dude. I wish they would bring the commentators into 2K as well. Like I would love to hear Stan Van Gundy and like Reggie Miller in there instead of just Kevin Harlan. Bring them all.
I think we might be getting that dude because that would be awesome. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, in ESPN, I love Mike Breen, I love Jeff Van Gundy, I love Mark Jackson. But that's basically it.
That's it. Yeah, I don't
that's
like
it.
QB Brown and all them guys. I don't like them. I'm not a big fan on them, though, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, TNT's show is hilarious because Shaq and Charles, they're X-rated on there. They will cuss. They will call each other assholes and not think about it.
Right.
Chuck will say something about, well, he's just a dumbass. And Ernie said, well, you can't say that on TV, so I'll say it again, Ernie, he's a dumbass. They're just so funny, man. I love that crew.
They have charisma. They have pizzazz. They have character on that show. You have to have character.
Look at the personalities, dude. Like Shaq has been one of the most comical guys in basketball history with his nicknames and his just the way he carries himself. He's just a funny out guy. And Charles Barkley too. Like not more now than used to, but when he was a player. But now he's more of just he's that funny old man who just loves cracking jokes, and he keeps it real, though. They will keep it real with you, and that's what I appreciate the most.
Yes, he does. And Barkley was on the Altitude Radio Network in Denver this morning. I believe it was a 92.3, if I remember reading correctly. Barkley was on Denver's radio station this morning talking about the Nikola Jokic comments by Kendrick Perkins on First Take.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's crazy that, that I can't get over how Perkins did this and why he did this, because he just goes to show you that he's one of those guys in the national media's perspective that he comes on there and he makes a fool of himself because he knows he'll get a reaction.
But going back to the Charles Barkley, he also, I don't know, it was a different radio show. Oh, he was on First Take last week, and this is where I will watch them episodes when someone keeps it real. Like he was explaining his criticism of Kevin Durant, and he's completely 100% valid. He said, "Listen, man, all the old heads are gonna respect you when you win a championship without your superhero."
Right, exactly.
And they said, like Kobe Bryant, they finally respected him when he won without Shaq. They finally respected Steph Curry when he won without KD, or he won the first time, but they was like they finally respected LeBron when he won without D-Wade. Like it goes on and on. Kevin Durant ain't no different. He said, "I hold Kevin Durant to the same criteria until he wins without Steph Curry. He's just a bus rider." Same way with the load management. He said, "Man, you get paid millions of dollars. Why the hell you missing 1-2 games a week just to rest? Like, man, you got
exactly.
fat out there making $17, $18, $19 an hour, have to work 5 days a week all day, and they don't miss days because of load management. Why the hell does an NBA player have to?" And Charles Barkley he's 100% right.
Exactly. And to add to this, I was almost correct. It was the Altitude Sports Network at 92.5 this morning. And I mean, it goes to show you that you need honest personalities in sports to keep it flowing, because that's what keeps people entertaining watching your program. And Barkley said it best that when they come on there, they don't think about what they're going to say. They just get up there and they know, okay, when this microphone is on, when this camera's on, we're going to come on here and we're going to give our honest opinions, and we're going to have personalities. We're going to have character. We're going to have fun. And that's what they do. That's what they do. And Kev, you brought up this, and this has been bothering me a lot of the times in the NBA, especially. You have star players taking off at times back-to-back games after playing one game of a back-to-back. Did you see back in the day, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Karl Malone, Tim Duncan, you name it, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, I can go down the line of all the great NBA players of the old days. Did they take these back-to-back or back-to-back games off? No, absolutely not. They did not take back-to-back games off. They were hungry to play back-to-back games because it got them even more prepared down the line for a series in the playoffs. So that right there is one of my biggest problems with the NBA is you do have some players in the NBA that like to take these, take a rest day. When you have when knowing how ticket prices are these days, how prices to the concerts and the sporting events and all that stuff are outrageous now. These fans pay their hard-earned money to come to a game to expect to see the players they come to see, and there's been times where these players didn't play. No, I'm sorry. That's wrong. That's not cool. Not cool at all. And again, folks, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at @ON_Sports Show, Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show, and where we are live right now on YouTube.com/Our Nation Sports Show. And don't forget to like and share this video with your family and friends. And don't forget to like this video and to share it around the internet with your all family and friends that love the world of sports. And we've been hot and heavy on this NBA discussion on this whole racism comment by Kendrick Perkins just completely rubbed us the wrong way. And it's just ridiculous how that happened. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one, William. And Will, this is why we love you, brother, because he just said it. He said, this is why I love y'all's show. When you come on here, you give your honest takes on the world of sports, even though I may not agree with all of your comments, but I appreciate you guys because you're honest. You're not coming on here and saying stuff just to get clickbait ratings. And that's how we are. That's how we are. And also, William says he wishes that Shaq was his big brother. and he said Kendrick Perkins was the same guy that said that the Brooklyn Nets were going to win the NBA title last year. How did that happen? It didn't happen. They didn't win crap.
Kendrick Perkins.
Yep, exactly. Oh man. This has been a hot topic, dude. And I know we were talking about this, and I wanted to bring this up on the show because this was a very hot button discussion that we had during the pre-show. And this has to stop. This really has to stop with this clickbait crap from the national media, because you're going to get people like me. You're going to get people like Kevin. You're going to get people like Joey, like Ezra, like Randy, like Urinating Tree, like all of the sports YouTubers out there across the World Wide Web that are going to get their honest take in sports. We're not going to hold any punches back. When we come on this show, we have a fun. We have a fun, good time, and we give our honest, truthful opinions. When we give our score predictions during the football season, we don't look at scorecards. This is off the top of our heads. That's how we are. That's how we roll. And we love doing this show every single week. And looking forward to the next week again, folks. The show has been awesome tonight, talking about the franchise tagging situation in football, some of the contracts and free agency in the National Football League, talking about the NBA with John Morant's situation, talking about the Warriors, talking about the Nuggets, how Nikola Jokic is doing, the Celtics, and the struggles they've been going through, and all of that stuff, and talking about this Kendrick Perkins conversation that he had, this argument that he had with Redick on television, and this hot button discussion of how analysts today on national television go for clickbaits and stuff. But anyways, Kev, any other things you want to talk about, bro, before we wrap up the show?
Not really. Just touch base real quick. also the Tennessee Titans are.
Oh, thank you. I forgot about that.
I just wanted to strike that up real quick, and I'll keep it short and sweet because we're pressing on time. But that's just a stupid thing to do. I don't get why you traded your All-Pro wide receiver last year, AJ Brown, who was young. Now you're going to trade your workhorse running back, and out of all that, keep Ryan Tannehill. Come on, man.
And
I don't know what they're trying to accomplish.
I'm glad you're bringing this up, dude, because I totally forgot about this. But let's call it right now, right here. This right here is one of the dumbest moves that any professional sports team could ever do. You're trying to trade away your best overall weapon, not just in the NFL, but in sports. Derrick the King Henry is the best running back in the National Football League. I totally forgot about this. Thank you for bringing this up because I want to talk about this before we close out this show. This is a dumb move by the Titans to have him on the trading block after the years of sacrifice, running the ball with vicious intensity, racking up yards, scoring touchdowns, all-pro running back, could run off of multiple defenders in the box to get to the outside in the open field and get yards after running in between the tackles. Derrick Henry is the reason why the Tennessee Titans are where they were the last couple of seasons and why they made it to the championship game 4 years ago now against the Chiefs. Give me a freaking break.
They are the reason why they were the league's or the conference's number one seed 2 years ago when they got put out by the Bengals, eventual Super Bowl representatives. But it was because of Derrick Henry. He had so many 200-yard rushing games. It's ridiculous. This situation is just something where it's kind of like when you just let your little brother or little cousin get on Madden and control franchise mode and they just fuck your shit up, because that's exactly what the Titans are doing. They're fucking their shit up. They're letting everybody go, doing all this, but at the same time, they're keeping Ryan fucking Tannehill out of.
You're keeping the guy. You're keeping the guy.
Trade value, but damn, just cut his damn ass. Oh, also releasing Bud Dupree also.
Who is that again?
Bud Dupree, the outside of the edge rusher for the Titans.
Oh, wow.
Yep, they're in deep shit. So
it's a bad.
The AFC East is literally trying to compete with, or the AFC South is literally trying to compete with the NFC South for who can have the most bozos rosters in the division. Because, dear God, now you let the Titans do that. Good God, you got the Colts and the Texans.
The Colts and the Texans are in hell. The Titans are heading to hell.
Well, what do you know? The Texans got a shot, even as rebuilding.
They do.
Oh, last thing I want to touch base on also is I want to just recognize anybody that's in the chat or anything have watched the NFL Combine. Some of these 40 times by these defensive linemen.
Unbelievable.
There was one from Georgia, Nolan Smith, ran a 4.39. That is faster than Christian McCaffrey's 40 time, by the way. A 4.39. And you know what I said? You know what my first thought was? As soon as they get drafted in the NFL draft, they're getting drug tested by Roger Goodell.
Right.
They're getting drug tested because who runs a sub 4.40 as a defensive end? Like, oh my God, you're going to be a running back running 50 yards downfield, and all of a sudden you see some big 300-pound lineman chasing you down for the tackle. So, but it won't be Tony Siragusa like it was in the Bullies of Baltimore.
Oh, Lord. Nope.
You won't catch me running 40 yards downfield trying to make a tackle. So, yeah, that was pretty insane. And also, Anthony Richardson, has anybody checked that quarterback out? His stats are insane. They said he's taller than a tight end, taller than George Kittle, got hands bigger than DeAndre Hopkins and Devontae Adams, jumps higher than Tyreek Hill, and runs faster than half of the quarterbacks.
He's like what, 6'4", 240?
6'4", 240 with his hand
unbelievable,
way taller than Devontae Adams.
Crazy.
He's got like a 46-inch vert. Good thing those drills don't tell you if you're going to be a good quarterback or not, because you could have the best damn skill set in the combine and still throw a fucking football horrible. Hint Zach Wilson, for example. Great combine, Bad passer. That's why I don't know if I would gamble on Anthony Richardson in the draft. CJ Stroud's your number 1 draft pick. I'm telling you now. I'm sitting at stone. Someone's going to trade up and get CJ Stroud. He's the best quarterback in the class. Let me just say that.
Yep. And once the draft comes down, we will be covering that on where we think the top quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, and defensive players will end up this year. And the draft will be happening in April in Kansas City, home of the Super Bowl 57 champion Chiefs. And once again, the Chiefs made history being the first team to win a Super Bowl in one season. And then before the next start of the next season, hosting the draft. Unbelievable. Very crazy numbers. And again, this whole Derrick Henry situation, it is completely ridiculous how the Titans are just thinking about this. And, we're going to blow everything up, all of the good things that we have done over the years, going to the championship game. On the door of the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Yeah, we lost. Okay, next year, come back. We sack Joe Burrow 9 times. 9 freaking times. But, wait. Tannehill throws 3 picks. Derrick Henry doesn't do good at all during that game because they shut the running game down. Let's good job, Tennessee. And then 2 seasons ago, Derrick Henry with the foot injury. You knew that was gonna put a dent in their season, and it did. And he came back, and it was just too little, too late, and the injury caught up with him. And then last year, Tennessee, up and down season all year long, they were leading the AFC South, and then they went on this 7-game losing streak, highlighted by losing to Jacksonville to knock them out of being the AFC South champions when they lost 20. I believe it was 20-17, but that was a crazy game in Jacksonville. And but yes, this move by Tennessee is completely stupid. Trying to get rid of your best overall weapon, because I'm telling you, the Buffalo Bills will go after him because they need a running back like him. Somebody in the NFL is going to be coming after him. The Dolphins may go after him. The Patriots, the Bills, hell, the Jets. You never know in this league. You never know. The Bengals could go after him. I mean, who knows at this point? The Falcons, the Saints, hell, even the Panthers. Any team is valuable to get Derrick Henry at this point. Tennessee, as Jelly would say, what his favorite saying on here, what the hell, bro? Come on. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Any final thoughts, bro, before we wrap up this bad boy?
All I got to say is go Niners, go Blue Devils. It's about March Madness time. And also for our local high school, go Raiders. State championship game.
Yes, sir.
Everybody that's local around here in the chat, state championship game for the Richmond Raiders against Myers Park. Anybody needs to come out there and watch some good basketball, I advise to do so. It's going to be played at the Dean Smith Center in Chapel Hill. So anybody can join.
And it's a great call, dude, to have that game, in Chapel Hill. You can fit more people there. I love this. I love this call. Yep. And shout out to our boy Paul McNeil having one hell of a season with the Richmond Raiders basketball team. Our Richmond Raiders are on their way this Saturday to the state championship game against Myers Park in Chapel Hill. Go Raiders. Yep. Get that championship victory. Let's go. Let's go.
Definitely will be in attendance for that game, as I was all year this year. But also Paul McNeil too, I might just add to you, Stephen. He made a pledge. He said he was going to a private school. He came back to Richmond. He said, I want to win a state title for my hometown. I'm going back to win a state title. And man, he's on the brink of fulfilling that one. And
yes, he
is.
I'm
proud of this team. I'm proud of these boys. I'm proud of Coach Bootsy. I'm proud of all them guys.
So proud to be a Raider. Once a Raider, always a Raider. Kev, I know you believe in that sentiment right there, my friend. That's not just football. That's a way of life when you're a Raider. Basketball, baseball, football, it don't matter. Once a Raider, always a Raider. Again, folks, thank you for joining us tonight on this edition of Our Nation Sports Show. Ezra will be back with us next Tuesday on the show. Kev, as always, brother, I appreciate you. I love you like a brother. We've been friends for 19 years. We love doing this show together with Ezra, with Joey, with our buddy Randy Gyron, who will be back. Joey and Randy will be back very soon with us on the show. And we are super stoked to be covering all the world of sports. The offseason is kicking into high gear. We are so excited to bring the world of sports to you every single week, covering the world of sports. And again, folks, we will be back next week on our Nation Sports Show, talking about the news in the NFL, the NBA, whatever the hell we decide to talk about. So with that being said, for K-Rock, Kevin Rory, for JT, Joey Thornton, Ezra Vicky, Randy Gyron, I've been your host for this evening, Stephen Wyand. We are signing off. This has been another edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week and have an outstanding, glorious weekend. Peace.